Hey everybody, it's David Duford here at davidduford.com, where I help insurance agents like you become top producing insurance professionals. And today I've decided to put on a little video to help out those of you out there who are Lincoln Heritage agents. I know there's a lot of agents who work for Lincoln Heritage that like my content to help them sell more life insurance through Lincoln Heritage. And what I wanted to do, a little different than what I've done in the past regarding Lincoln Heritage, is actually put together something constructive. And from a different perspective, from the perspective of somebody who hasn't sold Lincoln Heritage, but who has gone toe-to-toe with Lincoln Heritage agents many times across many years since I've been selling final expense since 2011. And I wanted to structure this video to give you advice from the perspective of somebody who literally salivates when they see a chance to replace a Lincoln Heritage policy. And chiefly the reason is that many Lincoln Heritage plans are overpriced. And if you can price a plan that's better for the client, or better yet, give them more coverage for the same price that they're paying, it's very likely that you're going to get that sale. However, I will say there have been several opportunities, and unfortunately it's not as common, which is why I'm putting this video together, to where if the Lincoln Heritage agent comes in correctly and sells the right way, it is much more difficult to get and ascertain the replacement. So what I'm going to do is defect from my normal, I guess you could say, philosophy, mantra of selling final expense, and advise you on what I would do if I were in your shoes in an attempt to sell final expense and keep the business you write, the Lincoln Heritage life insurance plans you write, on the books as long as humanly possible. So what would I do differently than what I instruct an independent agent who has access to different carriers to do if you're a Lincoln Heritage agent? So the first thing you've got to understand about before I get into my directions to you is understand the business. And I think there is an element that you're not being told, especially when you're brand new to Lincoln Heritage or the final expense business, about the nature of the prospects that we deal with. The fact of the matter is that the vast majority of the people who buy final expense life insurance are on a fixed income. They're uniquely different from people who are younger that are still working. They are more sensitive to a change in their financial capacity to afford things. Meaning, bottom line, when you live month to month and you can see a savings potential, they're more motivated to make a switch. They're more motivated to make a change. And so what you're up against if you sell a higher priced product in a market that's very competitive with lots of agents is that if you don't do the job correctly, if you don't sell the right way, you may be replaced based off of price. You may be replaced based off of inadequacy of coverage. For example, if you have somebody who has COPD and you can't get them first day full coverage with Lincoln Heritage, but you can with, say, Transamerica or Liberty Bankers Life, these are the things that you're basically have to deal with. It's reality. I tell all my insurance agents that work with me, expect an agent to walk in the door 6 months from now and create a sales presentation to fight against that reality. Don't hope that it doesn't happen. Expect that it does and plan accordingly. So with all this said, this is the nature of what you're walking into as a Lincoln Heritage agent. You're walking into a situation where your prospect is going to send another one of these cards back, just like the one you received. It may be 3 months from now, 6 months from now, but somebody's going to try to come into the door and displace you. They're going to try to replace what work you've done. And likewise the same with any final expense agent. It's not unique to anybody in any circumstance with any company. It's just the nature of how many of these prospects are. So what you have to understand, if you want to sell Lincoln Heritage successfully, have a high persistency rate, meaning a high number of pieces of business stays on the books, and you want satisfied clients, what you have to do is position yourself very, very well with the Funeral Consumer Guardian program. It's very important that you shift your mentality from selling life insurance to selling the benefits that the FCGS program provides you. To me, this is one of the best opportunities that you have to differentiate yourself, to show yourself in a different way that other agents like myself cannot do. Because when I go in and I present myself, of course, when you make a sale, by the way, kind of a little tangent, the main sale that's made is on you, okay? But then also your pitch, your kind of angle makes a difference too. And my angle when I come in and sell final expense insurance is, hey, I understand you're on a fixed income, and I do the shopping for you to get you the best combination of price and value. That's my angle. That's my philosophy. That's the lane I drive in. You cannot drive in that lane as a Lincoln Heritage agent. You have to drive in the lane of where you provide this service through the FCGS program that can enhance the benefits of your surviving family members to take care of your funeral expenses. And what you have to do if you want to be really successful is really sell that, I believe, more than the actual life insurance product itself. In a sense, I would imagine, I don't have any way to validate this, but the successful Lincoln Heritage producers are doing just this. I would imagine they're going in and having a conversation about how the FCGS program can provide this benefit better than any other kind of life insurance program out there, as far as helping the bereaved, doing funeral planning services, doing the service work when you pass away. These are all the hot button items that you have to hit. And I bet the top producers are all doing this, and it's kind of an afterthought that they're using Lincoln Heritage to ensure the deal to whether or not it gets approved or not. Lincoln Heritage, I would think, would be less of a deal than the FCGS program would be. Because if you don't make your presentation, and this is my point, if you don't make your presentation about the FCGS program, and you're more inclined to focus on the life insurance product, you're going to have a lot more competition when I come in the door. I mean, if you want to take a good example, wherever you live, doesn't matter, but imagine I'm going to come in and replace you. What would you do differently in order to prevent somebody like me that would come in with different carriers at different prices to offset what you're able to produce? And taking the standpoint of providing service, providing value, and providing a benefit that nobody else can does give you the opportunity to elevate your status in the mind of the client and potentially sell a policy that, yes, it may be more expensive, but the benefit we provide you outweighs that additional cost. And you have to believe that's the case naturally, and so does your client. But that's how you have to that's how you have to present it in order to get to a point to where you can prevent someone like myself coming in to replace you. Because I'll tell you guys, this is, again, not a Lincoln Heritage guy, never have been. I've always been born and bred an independent producer. I can probably count on one hand out of the dozens, 50 to 100 Lincoln Heritage plans I've replaced, that how many of them the clients never remembered anything about the Funeral Consumer Guardian Society. Well, I should say this. I should flip that side. On one hand, I can remember people saying, yeah, this is the FCGS program. This is what it provides for me. I really appreciate it. And when you hear somebody, it doesn't matter if you disagree with it. It doesn't matter if you think it's not a good program or it's not everything it's meant to be. If somebody believes in what you've sold them and they believe in the concept and the value, they will remember that. And when it comes time for the guy to walk in the door behind you several months later, if they remember that as being the most important element of the presentation, because that's what you've really spent time doing, it's going to be very hard, because what I come in and do is I don't do a funeral consumer guardian program. I don't think that they're right for me and what I do. It doesn't make sense for my presentation. I sell on price because I believe final expense plans are generally homogeneous in nature. And I want to give my clients the combination of price and value of coverage, meaning if I can, first day full coverage. So I have to change my presentation strategy when I have somebody who's a believer. And I can tell you, it's a lot more difficult to turn someone, if they are even able to be turned, to my side of thinking, if there was a good agent in the door prior to them that set this up the correct way, presented the FCGS program in the way that they should have been instructed, and you should be instructed, and have a hard time unpacking that. So I wanted to point that out because I think that's how you make it in a captive environment where you cannot be a low price or even a competitively priced agent. And but at the end of the day, this is how you keep business on the books. And I kind of wish it was like this in a sense in a final expense business. I guess it is in a little bit. You know, I don't like selling on price because you live by price, you die by price. You know, you've got to figure out ways to expand and alter your deal, your product offering in a positive manner that elevates it above the competition. So, and this is really a lesson for everybody, not just Lincoln Heritage agents. You have to figure out ways that to insert in your presentation value. You have to show how your product values how your product's value enhances the life of your client. You can't just think price, 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 price. It does make a difference on price, don't get me wrong, but value matters too. And that's where a good Lincoln Heritage agent will be successful if they think about value, not the product. Hope you enjoyed this little live stream I decided to put on. I've been thinking about doing this video for a while. Guys who've joined me on the call, thank you very much. Looks like I got a few people watching. Yes, let's make final expense great again. And we shall see you soon enough next week with some new videos. You guys have a good rest of the week. Go to daviddufour.com if you're interested in learning more about joining my agency to sell final expense, annuities, mortgage protection, and Medicare supplements. Guys, take care.